Kaja found a smooth cedar box tucked in the corner of the den. "I will fill it with the most perfect feathers in the world," she told the tall trees. She wanted colors as bright as the sun and edges as sharp as a new leaf. She wouldn't settle for anything less than spectacular. Sylvie walked beside her as they searched through the tall, swaying grass. Suddenly, Kaja gasped. A single feather from a blue jay lay on a flat stone. It was sapphire blue and perfectly straight. "Look, Mama," Kaja cried, carefully tucking it into her box. The first perfect piece. A few steps later, Kaja spotted a dusty brown feather caught in a bramble. She reached for it, then stopped. It was plain and a little dull, with a tiny bit of dirt on the tip. "This won't do," she whispered, pulling her hand back. "It's just an ordinary feather. It would ruin my beautiful collection." Deep in the woods, Micah the fox jumped out from behind a giant fern. She held a soft, silver-gray feather in her mouth. "I found this by the old hollow log, Kaja," Mika chirped, dropping it at the little bear's feet. "It is as soft as the morning mist." Kaja picked up the silver feather and turned it over. Near the tip, the edges were slightly bent and messy. "It's almost perfect, Mika," Kaja said with a heavy sigh. "But it has a dent. I can only keep the ones that are flawless." She handed it back to the puzzled fox. Sylvie nudged a golden feather toward Kaja with her wet nose. It shimmered like a gold coin in the dirt. Kaja's eyes widened, but as she leaned in, she saw a tiny hole near the center. "Even this one is broken, Mama," Kaja grumbled. She closed her box with a sharp click. "There are no perfect feathers today." They reached the edge of the ancient oak tree. Kaja sat on a thick root, her chin resting in her paws. "If I can't find perfect things, my collection isn't special," she pouted. Sylvie sat quietly beside her, the wind ruffling her fur. "Special isn't always the same thing as perfect, little one," she said softly. High above, a familiar chirp rang out. Pip the robin fluttered down to a low branch near her hidden nest. She looked tired, but her eyes were bright. "Are you looking for treasures, Kaja?" Pip asked. "I have a very special feather in my home. It is the most important one I own." Pip hopped into her nest and pulled out a feather that was frayed, torn, and faded to a muddy gray. "This feather kept my smallest chick warm during the great spring storm," Pip sang proudly. "It is worn out because it worked so hard. It is my favorite of all because of the help it gave." Kaja looked at the torn feather, then at her own nearly empty box. She realized that the flaws were actually stories of love and strength. She gently placed the ragged feather on top of her blue jay one. "It's the most beautiful one yet," she whispered, hugging Sylvie's leg as they walked home.